name's Karina Roberts, and I am proud and happy to be bringing you the State of the Forest report from Chileo, Angeles National Forest. I want to thank Richard Redmond for asking me to offer you this report. We are almost live and completely unscripted. So I am standing in Chileo Meadow, and the part of that meadow that I'm standing in that's beautiful and green is our native deer grass, and the part of the meadow behind me that you can see that's already sort of brown is our non-native cheatgrass, our lovely invasive species that has taken over wide tracts of the forest and gets up dogs' noses. So how is the forest? Well, we had a wonderful winter, lots of rain, obviously, and this T.S. Hillary, this last little storm that we had come through, I guess we'll wait for the dog to quit sneezing. This last little storm that we had to come through put a lot of water back in the creeks, which had actually just gone dry. So the water part is a real blessing for our water table, for the trees, for the animals. It's a wonderful thing. Would have been a great thing for the ski resorts, but somewhere around March 15th, we had a really strong rainstorm that washed out the roads. And that is kind of how the state of the forest has been for us who are here for a little while now. So it's been a little bit of a mixed bag. Does the forest really care that there's not a lot of people up here right now? I don't think so. Did the rain and snow give us a little bit of a reset? Yeah, I think it did. I think it gave us kind of a big environmental reset. But what has really sort of been a key factor in the way that things are today is that in the aftermath of those big storms, there's really no people in the high country right now. So those of you who are at Mount Wilson, you are fortunate because, as you may have noticed, the gate is closed just beyond Mount Wilson Road, and that's where we are right now. So the impact of not having people here has sort of been balanced out by, I believe, the impact of having quite as much snow as we got. We got 7 feet here, followed by 2 more feet up in the high country. They got 12 to 15 feet. That is a lot of snow, even if you are native wildlife that should know how to deal with that much snow. We haven't really seen that much snow. I think 2002 was the last time there was a storm that large. So my sense is that we probably lost some wildlife in that storm, and for sure we lost some bird life. Any animals that were dependent upon human beings for their survival didn't do as well as the ones that were more independent. So here in Chileo Campground, we have, I would like to tell you we have a lot more deer, but we really don't. I think I've seen 7, maybe 8 deer in the whole of this summer, most of them in the beginning of June. So I think the not having people here has allowed them, they're a little more relaxed, they roam around, they'll walk right past you, everything's okay. But we really haven't seen an increase in numbers, which was what I was sort of hoping for. Now, if the road stays closed, can you tell I forgot my bug spray? If the road stays closed, then it's going to be an interesting hunting season because the only hunters that can get up here are going to be the ones that find a way in that doesn't require a highway. And that could be good for the deer populations. We have so few deer. I would kind of like to see that. And then I might be biting my tongue a little bit later on because it is the hunting season, it is the beginning of the hunting season, which kind of saves us from the bears, which by autumn are pretty hungry and getting into the trash and getting into people's houses, although that's kind of already happening. So we do still have bears. They are still availing themselves to the resources that are here, but the hunting season is usually what drives them off. So again, I may regret if there's no hunters here in the autumn, but I also think it might be worth it to hopefully get the deer population to give them a little bit of a chance to rebound. We're not seeing a really big rebound yet, so maybe one more season will help that. What I'm hearing about the road being open at this point is that it could, maybe might happen at the end of the year. I'm going to just assume it's not going to be until next spring. So that said, the forest itself, the rain is wonderful. Obviously makes everything green, great for the trees, good for the water table. But what it also did is it was a real boon for the non-native species also, like this brown, it's a beautiful color, this yellow-brown cheatgrass behind us. I've never seen it so tall in my life. And where we have cheatgrass and other invasive species, those plants tended to outpace the native plants this year. So there are native plants. I'm standing in a beautiful field of deer grass, and there are native plants mixed in with all of that cheatgrass, but in the areas where the cheatgrass is thick on the ground, it's really been a struggle this year to keep it under control. And I think we know at this point, I think we've been through enough at this point to understand that, would help for a second, that we really need to manage the land. A lot of the stuff that I learned as an environmentalist early on was really completely wrong. In places where there's human beings, in places where we're doing recreation, in places where we want to preserve sites, buildings, people's lives, we really need to be managing the land as best as we can. And what Oregon is seeing right now is huge tracts of trees that were preserved from the logging industry are burning. So we've gone one way with the conservation ethic of save everything and keep it in perpetuity from logging and stripping the land of all of its trees, the clear cutting that we did in the beginning. So now what we need to do is we need to find balance. We know that having trees too close together promotes fire getting up into the canopy and having a crown fire. We know that. So we really need to look at every landscape and manage it. Maybe in the very high country we want to leave it alone, but maybe we want to leave a buffer zone around places that are really important to us. But really management moving forward is key. And the biggest challenge I think that we faced isn't necessarily climate change by itself, but it's these invasive species, because there's really, you can go after a tree, you can go after a bush, but how do you go after grass? There's really no way to go after grass. So I have probably taken up my allotted 5 minutes of time. That said, I wanted to do a little shout out to a dear friend. Hopefully you can see that. Larry Lopez, Angeles Crest Services. I promised I wouldn't cry when I did this part of the video. I was going through my closet. I was going to throw some things away. I could not part with this shirt, Larry. We're going on 17 years of me being here. When Mike McIntyre was the district ranger, I told him this is the place that I want to grow old, and by golly, that's happening. I want to thank you so much, Larry, for being a part of my early days and years here. There were some people that were really instrumental in helping me make it. Larry Lopez, Ralph Ortiz. I'm not going to go ahead and name them all because I'm sure I'm out of time. Larry, thank you so much. I can't believe you're retiring. Time goes by, doesn't it? So I want to thank all of you for joining me. And I want to do a couple special shout outs in the sunshine if I can. Whoops. There we go. This is our official summer wave, by the way. I want to do a couple special shout outs. This is our website. I want to say thank you to Southern California Edison and to the Moon Family Trust for your continued support, keeping us going, the Forest Recovery Project, and many of Redbird's other projects. I want to give a special shout out to Richard Rudman. Thank you so much for inviting me to do this video for you. And I want to thank Tanner Guile for holding the camera and getting me all squared away here and all that he does. Tanner's a pretty much one-man show trying to deal with all the brush at the house and the fallen trees. And so final shout out, if you happen to run a chainsaw crew, I have about 9 great big trees on the property that we'd like to get rid of. Tuleo School, we'll sign just about anything to have people come up there and cut those trees down. Thank you very much. Have a great day.